All right, coming back to you on the last little bit to talk about on 7.3. We're still on 7.3. We were talking about volume in the last video and conversions, and the last part of 7.3 talks about temperature. All right, so we have Celsius and we have Fahrenheit scales. We know that the Celsius is the metric scale for measuring the temperature, and then Fahrenheit is the Old English scale. On your note packet, you can see some common temperatures. Like in Celsius, negative 18 degrees Celsius would be a very cold day. That would be 0 Fahrenheit. 0 Celsius is our freezing point in Celsius, which is 32 degrees in the Old English system. So 0 Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Then on you see there, if you get up to 100 degrees Celsius, that's boiling point. And so do you know what it is in the Old English system? The boiling point is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So very not as handy of numbers, but we're used to it, and I feel like everybody kind of knows 32 degrees Fahrenheit is when it's going to be freezing, and maybe, not as much, but you know how 80 degrees Fahrenheit feels outside. We know that's a pretty warm day, and 100 degrees Fahrenheit, really hot day. But we're not as accustomed to the Celsius scale. So this is to help us with that. It's called the centigrade scale because in Celsius, 0 is the freezing point and 100 is the boiling point. So it's a nice, more condensed between 0 and 100, centa meaning 100, the centigrade scale. More condensed scale. That kind of makes sense. 0 freezing, 100 is boiling. All right, so the way we convert, there's no direct, just move your decimal point here. It's a more complicated equation. There's not just one direct multiplier to convert between these, but this is how we get there, as close as we can. The Fahrenheit, if you know something in Celsius, for example, if you had 0 degrees, which we kind of know this, 0 degrees is freezing, and you plug that in for C, 0 times 9/5 is 0, so there it is, Fahrenheit is 32. That would be a quick example. If it's 2 degrees, or let's do 5 because it'll work out nicer. If it's 5 degrees Celsius, I would plug 5 in for C. 9/5 times 5 would just be 9. 9 plus 32 would be 41 degrees Fahrenheit. You could plug in anything for C. Sometimes it comes out as a decimal or a fraction, depending on which way you work it. But it might not come out perfect all the time because we're going to have this 9/5 times. So if it's 9/5 times 7, you're going to have a decimal or a fraction there to deal with, and that will come up. Otherwise, if we go the other way, say we know Fahrenheit is 212, if we plug in 212, if we knew the Fahrenheit and wanted to get Celsius, it would be quickest to plug it in this formula. You could plug it in this formula. These are the same formula, by the way. They're just rearranged in different ways. So they're equivalent formulas, but one is solved in terms of C and one is solved in terms of F. So if you just want to be able to type it on your calculator, the quicker thing to do, if you know F, if you know Fahrenheit, plug it into this one to solve for C. So, okay, let's say we know Fahrenheit, the 212 should be boiling, so it should come out to be 100. So let's check that out. If we do Celsius equals 5/9, Fahrenheit is 212 minus 32. Let's see, what is that? Minus 12, 20, that's 180. You do the parentheses first. Then 5/9 times 180. You can do that on your calculator or by hand. This one kind of goes in nicely 20 times, and then 5 times 20, 100. So it converts it to Celsius, 100 degrees Celsius, like we knew from the chart. All right, so you have some practice ones to do. You can see down below. There's 3 through 7, so the activity, I always like you to practice these by turning the video off and see how you do before you watch the demo. But I'll go ahead and work these out for you. So we're converting negative 20 Fahrenheit. So I'm going to put that in for F here to figure it out as Celsius. Negative 20 minus 32. And I'm just going to let my calculator do the walking here. Minus 32. I get a decimal, negative 28 let's call that 0.9. Let's round to just the tenths place, one place on these. And that's really no hard and fast rule. You do it however you want. I'm mainly concerned about your applying the formula, not your rounding. Okay, number 4, we're doing 60 Celsius. So I'm going to put that in for C. So I would use this equation, 9/5 times C of 60 plus 32. We'll convert that into Fahrenheit. Punch that in your calculator. I'm going to get that one comes out to be 140. 140 in Fahrenheit now. Okay, number 5. Checking up on your work. 100 degrees in Fahrenheit. Convert that to Celsius. So I want to put that in for the F value. 5 ninths times 100 minus 32. Again, punching that in. That one comes out as a decimal also, 37.8 to the nearest tenth. All right, number 6. We're converting 85 Fahrenheit to Celsius. So once again, plugging in for F will be 5 ninths. F is 85 minus 32, and that will convert it over to Celsius. So punching that in your calculator. Will be 29.4. And then lastly, number 7, to practice this, we're going to take a Celsius, 37 degrees Celsius, and convert it to Fahrenheit. So when we know Celsius, it's easier to use this formula. It's going to be 9/5 times C of 37 plus 32 in that formula. So again, punch away. And I'm getting 98.6 body temperature, right? Converted it to our, what we consider a normal body temperature is 37 in Celsius. All right, hope that helps. If you have further questions or want to see further examples, always let me know.